Ang mandato ng DOTR sa pagsasaayos ng transport system ay binigyan emphasis ng ating mahal na Pangulo. Sabi niya, ito yung kabuuan ng mandato. Ke road sector, maritime sector, aviation sector, rail sector, it's all about making the Filipino life convenient and comfortable.
Kung panahon na nagkaproblema po tayo, mabagal po ang ating takbuhan at maiinit po yung ating mga bagon. Maraming mga negatibong komento.
Mahirap. Kumikita ang MRT, ang tao na humihirap pa rin.
Nawala po lahat yun pagkatapos ng rehabilitation natin sa ilalim ng Build program ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Kasama rin kasi sa aming advocacy ang pagbibigay ng sensitivity training sa ating mga guard na naka-assign sa mga MRT station. Naramdaman ko yung pagbabago na yan kasi dati noon hindi kami pinapansin ng mga guard. Nahayaan lang kami. Ngayon, malayo pa lang kami. Pag may nakitang persons with disability, ina-assist na talaga.
Nung pandemic, I was also bike-to-work person kasi wala na kaming ibang mode of transportation dito sa Cebu. You're comfortable enough, wala nang makakadisgrasya sa iyo kasi andito ka na sa linya mo, sa bike lanes mo. So, it will listen ka ng disgrasya dito, specifically yung sa mga bikes.
Sa old terminal, hindi siya ganun kalaki, tsaka yung mga gamit doon hindi siya ka-sophisticated. Unlike ngayon dito, mapapawaw ka talaga dito sa bagong airport. Tsaka super amazing siya.
Ang Pilipinas, mas madaming tubig kesa lupa. Ibig sabihin, dapat magkaroon ng connectivity. Kaya nga, inaayos natin yung connectivity by air. Inaayos natin yung connectivity by maritime.
Ang Tagbilaran Seaport po dati, isa po siyang maliit lang na port, tapos wala siyang masyadong kaayusan, walang sistema. Purely cargos ang kinekater niya. I-rehabilitate na po ito ng DOTR. Kasama po sa mga development ang mga facilities na tourist-friendly.
Yung seaport po namin dito is very improving. And so far, our international local tourists is so nice and very accommodating po.
Yung improvements na ginawa natin, never before in the past administration have we done so much in so short a time. Kaya nga ba, sa panahon ni President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, masasabi natin, indeed, the golden age of infrastructure in the Philippines is already in place. At nang sa ganun, yung ekonomiya ay malago, yung ekonomiya ay makakaroon ng growth and development.
Ang pagunahing hanap buhay namin dito, ma'am, sa Iloilo, ay nagtatanim kami ng palay at saka mais. Nung wala pang farm to market road, ang hirap-hirap talaga. Hindi makalabas ang aming palay. Nangingitim ng mga mais at saka nagtubo na. Nalulugi po kami. Hindi makapasok yung mga bata sa paaralan pag umuulan. Ang hirap-hirap talaga, ma'am.
Yung problema sa development, yung countryside development. Hindi po tayo gagawa ng infrastruktura, hindi natin ma-develop yung countryside. Kailangan lagyan natin ng kain yung buong bansa para mawala din yung poverty sa ibang areas. Kasi siyempre, pag walang connectivity, paano ba makakaroon ng investment kung walang connectivity?
Naging madali ang buhay namin ngayon dahil nasiminto na yung daan. Dati nang hindi pa nasiminto yung aming daan, papunta kami ng bayan, mga 2 oras. Pero ngayon, na siminto na, mga 30 minutes to 50 minutes, may makaabot na kami doon.
Ako po si Mark Anthony de la Cruz. Isa po sa mga nabigyan ng trabaho po dahil po sa Build program ng Administrasyong Duterte. Sa akin pong palagay, malaking bagay po kasi yung iba po kasi nawalan ng trabaho. Pagka may project po ang DPWH, kahit wala ang pinag-aralan, pwede ka pong pumasok.
Malawak po yung effect ng infrastruktura sa lahat. So, para sa akin, sulit talaga yung investment ng gobyerno sa infrastructure.
Mas mabilis yung travel time. Lalo na sa amin, sa mga bikers kasi may bike lane siya, then maganda pang kuhanan.
araw po akong dumadaan dito sa Estella Pantalan Raid, naghatid sundo ng mga tao. Nung hindi pa ito bukas, sumabot kami ng 2 hours, umiikot pa kami ng Makati, Ayala. Tapos nung nabuksan na itong bridge na to, alas 20 minutes lang, nasa site na kami.
Napakalaking tulong kasi nung nakaraan po kami dito, may times po talaga na napaka-traffic, talagang susunog yung oras namin. And itong bridge na to, kapag inusot mo yan, kumbaga malapit na rin po sa dinadaanan namin.
In the time of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, now we can call him even the infrastructure czar of our country na was able to envision these projects, no? Kaya nagsumikap talaga kami. Make our roads efficient, effective, and passable. Always.
Bali po, nagpapasalamat po ako sa Pangulong Duterte at sana po yung susunod na administrasyon ituloy po yung ganitong project.
Nagpapasalamat kami sa Build program ng Administrasyon Duterte dahil hanggang sa kaapu-apuhan namin makikinabang sila sa daan nito.
Many of you in the audience, especially my fellow Filipinos, is aware and very much aware of what has been happening then. You know there is such a thing as laglag bala. There was a thing as bukas bagahe at the airport. This was very irritating as it was very challenging, as it was very discouraging for the traveling public, local and foreigners together. Now, the laglag bala and the bukas bagahe is gone. You can travel to the various airports and to your destinations without fear of being held at the airport because of some ammunitions found or to be found in your luggages. That was an ammunition. Number 2, no more is the opening of bukas bagahe. So you can travel in comfort, you can travel in convenience. Number 2, another low-hanging problem is the so-called no plate number, no driver's license, to the effect that the Philippines was called Republika Walang Plaka. Imagine a country, a nation, a sovereign like the Philippines. You have motor vehicles running without plate numbers. This was certainly a big irritant. In addition to this, there were no licenses. All licenses were all in the interim. Maybe we can even see licenses in coupon bands. Today, as we speak, there is a cross program to make sure that the plate numbers and the licenses are in place. The plate numbers are now in place. The licenses is now on a nice plastic thing, and believe it or not, it has a validity, if you are lucky, for 10 years. Noon, wala ng papel, wala pang validity. Anong klaseng transportation yan? As we speak today, this is long gone. The Department of Transportation consists of 4 sectors. Number 1 is the aviation. Number 2 is the maritime. Number 3 is the rail. And number 4 is the road. Let us revisit what we have done on a medium term and long term along these sectors, and let's do it one by one. Number 1 is the aviation and the airport. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, that insofar as aviation projects is concerned, your Department of Transportation has completed 250 airport projects all over the country. And this project included not only putting up and building new airport projects, it included repair and construction of the so-called passenger terminal, the extension of runway, the creation of airport, the taxiway, and more importantly, supporting the ancillary service that is needed in the aviation and the airport sectors. let us, in the interest of time, revisit some of the projects that has been undertaken by the Department of Transportation. Number one is Clark International Airport. Who has not heard about Clark International Airport Terminal 2? We have completed this. I hope all of you, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, will find time to visit the Clark International Airport, and then I assure you, when you visit and when you see, you will say, wow, world class. Yes, sir. Clark International Airport Terminal 2 will compete with the best world-class airports. And this is the first time that's been done. The capacity is 8 million passengers annually. That is Clark International Airport. Yeah, have you heard of Bicol International Airport? This is the most scenic gateway in the international airport. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, that this project is delayed for 25 years, 20 years or so? But during the term of Duterte administration, it did not only start this project, it completed the project, and it's now operational as an international airport. Long has the people of Bicol wanted their airport. They have waited too long. The Duterte administration stopped that waiting. Look at Mactan Cebu International Airport. It is the world's friendliest resort airport. Capacity, 8.5 passengers annually. If you have time to visit Clark, have time to visit the Cebu International Airport. And you will be saying unto yourselves, wow, the airports now in the Philippines are world-class? Yes, sir. Done by the Duterte administration in barely 6 years. Bohol Panglao International Airport, the Philippines' first eco airport, capacity 3.5 million passengers annually. Long has this been in the planning stage. In the Duterte administration, it was not planned. Walang drawing, ginawa at tinapos, at ngayon, ini-enjoy ng mga tao sa Bohol, ini-enjoy ng ating mga kapwa Pilipino, ini-enjoy ng mga turista here and abroad. Hindi ho malalayo yung Zamboanga International Airport. Ito ho, makikita ninyo na talaga namang napakaganda ng ayos. Makikita nyo mamaya sa slide na kung saan yung mga airport na ating ginawa, magugulat kayo. Yung ibang pasilidad sa airport na yan, some of the facilities there can be compared to a waiting shed. It can be compared to a sari-sari store. Long as those days when the passenger terminal airports are a waiting shed. They are passenger terminal airports which you can be truly proud of. And it happens in the Duterte administration. And so there are other airports that have been put up. The General Santos Airport, capacity 2 million passengers, doubling its capacity of 1 million before COVID-19 pandemic. The Bigan Airport, which we just opened just 2 weeks ago. Yes, our term is about to finish. Matatapos na, umpisa pa rin, trabaho pa kami, nagtatapos pa rin ng proyekto. Kasi sinabi ng Duterte administration, up to the last day of our term, we will not stop performing and achieving for the Filipino people. Puerto Princesa International Airport. The new terminal has been inaugurated in May, capacity 1.9 million passengers annually. We have lengthened the runway. It can accommodate aircraft. Birak Airport rehabilitated the passenger terminal building. Last June 2018, capacity 300 passengers daily. Will improve connectivity and mobility in Catanduanes. Ormoc will not be far behind. You know, sino nakakaalam ng Ormoc nun? Ngayon, pumunta ka sa Ormoc, sasabihin mo, okay pala mamasyal dito sa Ormoc, maganda yung airport, tinapos din ho yan ng Duterte administration. Marami hong mga ginawa dahilan sa Yolanda, dahilan sa earthquake. Nandiyan po yung Tacloban, rehabilitation ng airport. Hindi pa ho marahil natapos ang kabuuan, pero tatapusin po namin yan. Calbayog Airport was inaugurated last 5 May 2021. The new passenger terminal building can accommodate 450 passengers compared to 170 when we assume. Hindi ba napakagandang improvement yan? At hindi malalayo yung Catarman Airport na na-inaugurate noong September 2, 2021. Capacity is 50,000 passengers annually. Dumaguete Airport is not far from behind. Nandiyan ho, capacity from merely 500 to 550. Calibo International Airport, to expand and enhance the tourism potential of this country, we have to put up airports so that people, local and abroad, can visit our nice scenic spot, so that we can say that through aviation, we can be a partner to the enhancement and improvement of the tourism program of this country. Siquijor Airport was inaugurated August 26. Capacity 60 passengers at any given time, 6 times higher than its previous passenger capacity of 10. Ganun ho yan. E yung mga improvement na yan, hindi rin ho mawawala yung Butuan Airport, inaugurated August 5. There are many more. We have put up malasakit centers all over our airport developments so that we complement the convenience of traveling with caring concern with our passengers. Camiguin Airport, another tourism area, we have put up a new airport. Now, as we put up the airports, listen to this. We have introduced 2 important things in airport and aviation. Number 1 is the satellite communication system. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, that when we started, we only had 9 radar systems all over the country. Today, we added 10 more. So that what happens now is we have protected the Philippine aerial territory and jurisdiction so that traveling will not only be convenient, it becomes more predictable. The second thing which we have started is the night-rated airport. Before, when the Duterte administration assumed office, planes and aircraft will travel only during sunrise. Sunset, hindi na ho magta-travel because our airports are not night-rated. We have made more than 10 night-rated airports in this time. So that what happens now is not only during sunrise you can travel, but you can travel during sunset. And at the same time, you help decongest NAIA and other primary gateways. The host is telling me I have 2 minutes. You want me to stop now? No, they said no. So stop doing like that. I'm still in the mood. The Department of Transportation has performed more than 10 minutes it can accommodate. The Department of Transportation has accomplished much more than for 10 minutes presentation. And so this is what we have done. While you build airports, improve it, modernize it, make it world-class, you put up some security measures and facilities like what we call the satellite communication system and the night-rated capacity. All told, in aviation during the term of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, so much has been done in so short a time so that we make the Filipino people convenient and comfortable. Let us take a look now. I will try to hurry this up. 1 hour. Let us hurry this up. Railways. My goodness gracious. When the Duterte administration assumed office, there were only 77 kilometers of railways. 77 kilometers of railways compared to the 2,000 kilometers of railways during the Commonwealth. During the Commonwealth. So we ask, saan napunta yung mga riles? Aba, ewan ko. Ewan ko. But that is the reality. Today, as we speak, we can put up this structure, and we have put up this structure so that at a given time, we will be able to complete 1,200 kilometers of railways. Yung iba tapos na, yung iba tatapusin pa, yung iba kasado na. But at certain point in time, magiging 1,200 kilometers yan, kumpira ng 77 kilometers when the Duterte administration assumed office. Let us revisit some of these railway projects. Number one is the MRT-3. I mentioned earlier that MRT-3 is MRT Tirik. We have completed the rehabilitation where we put the real honest-to-goodness contractor. We changed the railways. We changed the system. Before, the speed was 28 to 29 kilometers per hour. Today, we can do 60 kilometers per hour. Before, the headway was 9 minutes, 12 minutes. Today, the headway is 3.4 minutes. Before, the passengers pre-pandemic was around 330,000. Pandemic, the passenger capacity was less than 200,000. If we were lucky, we'll make 220,000. As of today, a week ago, capacity for MRT-3 touched and hit 350,000. On top of this, the 350,000 since the month of April was traveling in MRT-3, libreng sakay. Hindi ba napakagandang benepisyo yan para sa ating mga kababayan? Hindi ba napakagandang blessing yan para sa ating kababayan? Lalo't higit ngayon na kung saan naghihikahos sila ng mga panggastos, naghahanap ng mga savings. Hindi ba ang laking tulong yan? Nasabi sa akin na nakinabang sa libreng sakay natin, Secretary Sani, sir, over 15 million passengers daw nakinabang na. Hindi ba napakaganda ho? Tignan natin yung LRT2 extension. For 2 decades in the making, the LRT2 East extension going to Antipolo is now operational. Before, plano-plano lang yan. Ito, totoo, sasakay ka na. Tignan mo rin, yung from Antipolo, 3 hours to just 40 minutes now because of the extension. Hindi ba napakaganda? Sa Duterte administration lang ho yan. Sa Duterte administration. Tignan natin yung LRT1 Cavite. If you go to Sucat, Parañaque, makakakita ho kayo ng mga constructions doon. Nakataas na yung mga girdels. Matatapos na ho yan. Matagal din ho. Nag-antay yung ating mga kababayan sa Baclaran, Parañaque at Nyog, Bacoor nitong tinatawag natin na LRT1 extension. Target ho namin, in accordance with our plan, if it will to be followed, matapos ho yan 2024 at magkaroon ho yan ng partial operability sa 2022. Marami ho mga ginawa dyan, nandiyan na yung trend na kung saan makikita nyo na talagang hindi bola-bola ito, totoo ito. Nandiyan na yung mga components upang sa ganon, yung biyahe sa Baclaran, Parañaque, papuntang Bacoor at Nyog ay magiging realidad. Nandiyan din ho yung tinatawag natin na MRT-7. Yung MRT-7, malapit na ho matapos yan. Kasama ho natin dyan yung San Miguel, proponent dyan na kung saan talagang tumutulong ho sila. Ito will reduce travel time between Quezon City and Bulacan from 2 to 3 hours to just 35 minutes. We expect partial operation by 2022-2023. Ito ho yung mga iba-ibang mga proyektong nandiyan dyan sa ating mga tren. Pero alam ko na nag-aantay kayo. Sasabihin nyo, asan yung subway? Tuloy ba yung subway? Tuloy ho yung subway. Listen to what I'm going to say. The subway has been a project for 50 years or more. If I tell you, if you go to the route where the subway will pass, you will see massive constructions there. In fact, by the first week of June or second week of June, the Transportation Department will perform an activity to convince the people of the Philippines that the subway is real at totoo. Ibababao na ho natin, Sir Seksani, yung tunnel boring machine. Once we put down the tunnel boring machine, the actual construction starts. In first or second week of June, we will do the simulation on what to do with the subway. Marahil tatanungin ninyo, may trend din na tatakbo, makikita nyo. Dapat hindi ko muna sinasabi sa inyo doon para surpresa na lang. Pero excited ako, nasabi ko na marahil ang tatanungin nyo, what happened after the Duterte administration? Tuloy ho ba yung subway? Yes, sir. Totoo, tuloy na tuloy. Let me impress to you 3 reasons why this subway is totoo, tama at tuloy-tuloy. Reason number 1, the funds are in place. Through the efforts of the Department of Finance, with the government of Japan and JICA, the funds are in place. In other words, walang problema sa pondo, nandiyan na yung pondo. Number 2, most of the contracts that are involved in the construction of the subway is already awarded. In fact, many has started. Hindi na ho matitigil yan. Pangatlong dahilan, yung right of way na umpisahan na, naayos na kakasundo na. Kung meron ng pondo, kung gawa na yung kontrata at meron ng right of way, sabihin mo sa akin, Secretary Charlie Galvez, paano pa hihinto yan? Tuloy na ho ang subway. Sana lang pabaunan nyo ng dasal at tulong ang mga dadating na administrasyon upang matuloy itong proyektong ito. Huwag niyong pabaunan ng agam-agam. Huwag niyong pabaunan ng duda. Pabaunan niyo ng tiwala, pagkat sabi ko, sa katatlong kadahilanan, tuloy ang subway. Nung nag-umpisa ho kami, maalala nyo, tatas na naman siya. Ayaw ko nga. Yung common station. Remember the common station? That was a major problem when the Duterte administration got in. Nag-aaway-aaway yung mga Taipans. Napagkasundo-sundo yan. So, nag-agree na kung saan nilalagay. May kaso pa sa Korte Suprema yan. Tinanggal yung kaso, nag-compromise agreement. Lahat ho yan, away-away. Kung sabihin ko sa inyo, target ho namin na yung common station will be operational, partly operational by 2022 this year. Ito ho yung mga bagay-bagay na mga nagawa. Gusto niyong pakinggan? May oras pa ba ako yung PNR, yung papunta sa Clark? Yung PNR, matatapos ho yan, sir, ma'am. Promise. If the new administration will follow the timeline and the strategy we have formulated, this Clark railways will be operational by 2026. 2025 thereabout, target pa rin yun. 2026, baka pwede na. Napakaganda ho ito. Magkakaroon ng connectivity ang ating relays. Maganda ho talaga ito. Gusto nyo yung Bicol International Airport? Bicol rails? Kung sabihin ko sa iyo, I can start anytime now. San Pablo, Lucena, Candelaria, anytime now. Operational yan after a hiatus of more than 5 years. And this Lucena, Candelaria, San Pablo will be an integral part in doing and finalizing the Bicol Express. Manggagaling ho yan, connectivity sa Makati, papuntang Alabang, Calamba, and then co-connect dyan. Ito ho, buo ang Bicol Railways. Ang Bicol, napakaswerte. Meron ng international airport, meron pang Bicol Express. Hindi ba panalo? Let me just say one thing while I stated that. It goes to show that the economic program, infrastructure program of President Duterte is not bounded by political color. Alam ho natin kung ano yung Bicol. Pero ngayon ho, naririnig at naririnig ninyo na sa Bicol, nandiyan dyan yung international airport at nandiyan dyan yung Riles, gagawin at bubuin sa termino ng ating presidente. This is an economic program that is not colored with any political affiliation. Mindanao Railways Partial Operation 2025. Iiwan na po natin sa dadating na administrasyon yan. Meron na ho tayong tinatawag na right-of-way mobilization program. Dapat ituloy lang ho yan. Okay ho yan. And so, kung makikita ninyo, meron ba tayong mapa dito? Yung mapa kanina sa aviation. Can you show the map of the Philippines sa aviation? Yung pula, yan ho yung mga merong bagong airport at merong bagong projects. Makikita nyo na halos lahat sa Republika ng Pilipinas ay may improvement sa aviation. Hindi ba maganda? Hindi ba magaling? Hindi ba panalo si Duterte? Palakpakan nyo naman si Duterte. We have touched on aviation, we have touched on rails. Let's revisit maritime. Earlier I mentioned, eto na, nawawala na. Earlier I mentioned that we are an archipelago. Alam niyo ho ba, mahigit 500, yes sir, 500 projects ang nagawa sa maritime. 500 projects in barely 6 years. Big projects, commercial ports, leisure ports, community ports. Of the more than 500 projects, half of that was done by DOTR and funded by DOTR. Ito ho yung mga community projects, mga leisure ports. Half of that was funded and performed and completed by PPA, some by the other attached agencies. Ano naman po yung mga puertong nagawa natin dito sa maritime? Nandiyan dyan ho yung sa Lumage. Akala ko pabababayin na ako eh. I'm okay. Yung sa Lumage. Ito, cruise port ito sa norte. Wala kayong naririnig na norte kanina except for Bigan. Di sa Lumage, may puerto ho tayo dyan, cruise port. Actually, nag-umpisa ng cruise port dyan pre-pandemic. Natigil lang dahil sa pandemic. Ito, natayo ho yan. Married with Salumage is another cruise port at Ilocos Norte. Ito ho, dalawa. Cruise port yan. Magandang pagkakataon yan at maganda para sa ekonomiya ng Ilocos. Yung sa Puerto Princesa, madami ho tayong nagawa dyan. Noon, sinasabi natin yung Puerto Princesa ay, pang turista lang. Hindi na po yan. Meron na hong kabuhayan, meron ng business dyan. In fact, we have connected Puerto Princesa, Palawan with other Asian countries like Malaysia and Indonesia, na kung saan makikita mo yung mga improvements. Can we flash on the screen some of the airports that we have put up in Palawan? Hello. Hello. At least it gives me time to rest my voice. We have put up ports in Palawan. Go to Palawan and you'll be surprised with so many ports that we have put up. Marami rin hong puertong itinayo kami sa Bohol. Maraming puerto na itinayo sa Visayas at Mindanao. Total nga, kagaya ng sinabi ko, mahigit 500. Imagine, 500 for barely 6 years. Noon, 12 taon. Baka 5 lang ang nagawa eh. Tayo, 6 na taon. 500 mahigit. Siguro dapat lang palakpakan yung economic team saka yung build. Doon ho, makikita natin yung mga improvement. At saka, emphasize ko lang, kasi I don't like to take much of time of the other speakers. I have taken enough already. Kunti na lang. Let me just state that it is only at the time of the Duterte administration that we have passenger terminal ports whose passenger capacity is 3,000, 3,500, 4,000. Never before in the history of this country has there been passenger terminal that capacity is 3,000, 3,500, and 4,000. Never before. And to top it, alam mo ba, sir, aircon yan. Alam mo ba, na ginagawa ng mga tao, pasyalan ngayon yan. Ganyan ho, kaganda yung mga ginagawa natin, mga pasilidad sa maritime. Paspasan ko na lang ho yung road. Yung road hindi ho malalayo. Yung mapa niyan, yung mapa ng maritime, can you flash on the screen? Ito, yung mapa ng maritime. Bakit naging puti ito? Di ba dapat green yan? Lahat ho yung puti na yan, it shows the places where the maritime improvements and constructions have been done. You saw that same sa aviation. Makikita mo na magtutugma yung performances ng aviation at maritime dito sa making Filipino life convenient and comfortable. On the red sector, PITX, naku, nung inumpisahan namin yan, katakot-takot na lipusta inabot ko dyan. Pangit, walang kwenta. Ngayon, ang gumagamit ng PITX, 100,000 mahigit. Eat your words. It shows that this terminal is functionable. It shows that this terminal is a partner to connectivity and mobility. Soon we expect and soon we want to rise, to have other terminals in Bukawi, in Santa Rosa, and in Marikina. Ito, meron na ho sa Marikina, saka Santa Rosa, nag-ooperate na yan. Alam mo ba, sa ganda nitong, sir, nakapunta ka na sa PITX? Uy, palagay ko, hindi ka pa nakapunta dun. Kung merong airport, meron din road port. Kasi parang airport ito. Aircon, in real time, lahat, the ticket, napakaganda. Never before we had this. Sa panahon ng Duterte, meron isang ganyan at magkakaroon pa ng maraming ganyan. Plus ng plus yung oras, 0-0, no more. Ayaw ako tigilan. Ayaw ko nga. The more you do that, the more I will lengthen my speech. EDSA busway, libreng sakay. Kung merong libreng sakay sa MRT3, meron din hong libreng sakay sa EDSA busway. Product of service contracting. Alam mo ba yung service contracting? Ito yung bagong system na kung saan may kontrata LTO, LTFRB at DOTR sa mga operators ng bus. Pipick up ng pasahero, pati yung jeepney, modernized jeepney, ng pasahero sa one destinasyon. Bababa sa isang destinasyon on predetermined time. In other words, wala na yung agawan ng sasakyan. Lalakad ho yan, may laman o wala, magsasakay at magbababa. In other words, predictable ang biyahe. Ang maganda dyan, libre. Libre. Hindi ba ang laking tulong yan? May libreng sakay na sa MRT3, may libreng sakay pa sa EDSA. Ganyan ho, meron tayong libreng sakay, meron tayong service contracting. Never before has this novelty and new improvements been done in so many years of various administration. Ngayon lang ho ginawa yan. Pinagtutulakan ko yung PUB Modernization Program. I want to change the safety capability of our vehicles. Kailangan ho, hindi lang malinis, kailangan ligtas. Why? Because safety is a shared responsibility. Safety should never be compromised. Kaya nga ba, dapat inumpisahan ko yung modernization program, nagsusumamo ako sa bagong administrasyon na ituloy niyo po yung tinatawag na modernization program pagkat yan ho ang susi ng kaligtasan ng ating mga mamamayan sa kanilang pagbiyahe. Marami hong proyektong ginagawa pa tayo. Nandiyan dyan yung Cebu Bus Rapid Transit. In the next few weeks, Seksani, tatayo na yung mga tarpaulin at i-announce na yung mga destinasyon at pupuntahan ng ating mga Cebu Bus Transit. Meron din ho ang Davao Public Transportation Modernization Program. So that makikita nyo na yung programa natin, hindi lang sa Kalakhang, Maynila, nandiyan din ho yung Cebu, nandiyan yung Davao. Ngayon, meron bang bike lane bago pumasok si President Duterte? Wala. Ngayon ho, as I speak, we have completed 563 kilometers of bike lane networks all over the country and continuing. Meron na ho sa Kalakhang, Maynila, meron sa Davao, meron sa Cebu. Ito ho, happy-happy yung mga operators, yung mga bikers. At sabi nila, salamat President Duterte, binigyan nyo kami ng isang mode of transport. Salamat President Duterte, pagkat itong mode of transport na to ay hindi lang maganda kung hindi ligtas. Ito ho, never before has this been done. So that you will see that in the term of President Duterte, we went far and beyond of what was traditionally done. We were not afraid to do innovations and creative approaches to make the Filipino life convenient and comfortable. Dito ho sa LTFRB, linons na ho natin yung modernization program. Tulungan nyo ho. I-touch ko lang ho yung tinatawag natin na LTO. Ayaw mo yung plaka nun? Ni-import pa natin yan, sir. Oh, ngayon, hindi na. Ginagawa na dito yung mga plaka. Alam nyo kung anong gumagawa? Makakala nyo, mano-mano. Robot. May dalawa kaming robot dyan. Oh. So, walang aksidente, mabilis ang gawa. Saka ang mahalaga dyan, pinangalanan nila yung robot, yung isang robot, Art. Yung pangalawang robot, Egay. So, Art and Egay. Yun. Inuuto-uto rin nila ako eh. That's part of being in power. And so, madami yung ginagawa dyan. Digitalization, digitization. There is no substitute to that. Nakaligtaan ko ho kanina before I end yung Philippine Coast Guard. Kasi napakahalaga ng ginawa ng Philippine Coast Guard sa termino ng ating Pangulo hanggang ngayon. Alam nyo ba, when I started Secretary Lorenzana as DOTR, there were only 6,000 warm bodies at Philippine Coast Guard. Alam mo ba, sir, that as I speak today, 22,400 ang population ng Philippine Coast Guard. Alam niyo ho ba na yung Philippine Coast Guard as I speak today not only has the personnel but has the facility to make sure that they are able to do their job and do their job properly. Nandiyan ho yung mga facility, nandiyan yung chopper, nandiyan yung longboat, nandiyan lahat, name it, it's there. So that When you have the people and you have the facility for them to do their job, okay at okay. But what is important is we couple the improvement on the personnel, we couple the improvement on the facility with what we call competence building. Kaya nga sige-sige ang training. Kaya nga sige-sige. Kaya nga kung paghihimayin mo at pagsasamahin mo yung tatlong ito, panalo. Nandiyan dyan ho yung Philippine Coast Guard. Kaya nga ba makikita mo yung Philippine Coast Guard, hindi lang ho sa West Philippine Sea, hindi lang sa karagatan, makikita mo na rin ang Philippine Coast Guard. Tumutulong sa airport, tumutulong sa kalsada, tumutulong sa relief operation. The Coast Guard will always be there. Panalo ang Philippine Coast Guard. I am proud to be associated with the Philippine Coast Guard. Let me now abbreviate my presentation a little bit.